What's going on, everyone? My name is CakeyC and welcome to the channel. So this video is a very exciting video for me to make. This is my very first Black Ops Cold War upload to my channel. As you probably guessed, fortunately for me, I do own a PlayStation 4, which allowed me to jump on the alpha version of the game and check out what Treyarch have been working on. So we got to experience 5 maps, a range of different modes, 2 to 3 guns in each class, about 9 perks, wildcards, tacticals, lethals, secondaries. A small fraction of what's to come in November was in this alpha. And on the note of it being an alpha, most of the things we have seen are subject to change. The base mechanics are there, obviously the guns that we've seen probably will still be there along with the perks, but there are plenty of things that are going to change, and I'm sure there'll be more stuff added in when the open beta access comes out in early October. So the intent of this video is to serve a few purposes, the first one being just for people to have a look at the gameplay. And then the second purpose is to show off the XM4, one of the main assault rifles that was in the alpha. But if you have missed any gameplay or you're looking for gameplay with the XM4, this is the video for you. If you enjoyed the video at any point, make sure to drop a like on it down below. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the XM4 and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, how-tos, class setups and much more. So let's jump onto the gunsmith and have a look at the XM4. Before we go anywhere, it's good to remind everyone that this was in the alpha and we didn't even have access to half of the attachments. So this build is probably not going to age very well. Once the beta comes out and the full game releases, this class probably will change. There'll be some better attachments that they didn't let us use in the alpha, but it's a good place to start for when players get access to the game. So like I used to do in some of my earlier Warzone class setups, I'm just going to go through the class setup before we jump onto the gunsmith for the XM4. And it's a good way for everyone to see what we had to work with in the alpha. So with the tactical, it's the stun grenade, lethal is the frag, and then new to Black Ops Cold War is the field upgrade. The field upgrade I was using was the field microphone. It deploys a recording device that highlights enemy sounds on your minimap with a recharge time of 3 minutes 15 seconds. So this is kind of like a bit of a radar that you can put down, and it's got a small radius, and anyone that runs past it that doesn't have the perk ninja on is going to show up on your minimap. And there's a few more field upgrades. If you want to check out what they do, keep an eye on our channel because I will be uploading a video that will go into detail on everything that was in the class editor, the gunsmith, all of the perks and the kill streaks. So moving on to arguably one of the most important parts of building the class is the perks. The first thing you'll notice here is that I've actually got 6 perks applied. And that is because of the wildcard I'm using. I'm using the wildcard perk Greed, which will allow you to put on 6 perks at any given moment. So in the perk 1 slot, I was running Engineer. This detects enemy equipment and score streaks through walls. The second perk 1 I was using was Tactical Mass, maximized resistance to flashbang, stun grenades and immune to gas. Moving on to the second perk, I don't need to say anything here. I was running Scavenger, replenish ammo from fallen players. I'm sure anyone who has ever played a game on Call of Duty knows the Scavenger perk. And then the second perk 2 I was using was Tracker. And then moving on to the third perk slot, this is the most interesting for me because I like to stay off the minimap and I like to move around quickly and quietly. This is mainly why I was running the wildcard perk Greed, just so I could have Ghost and Ninja on at the same time. So that's the class as a whole. We'll just have a quick look at the secondary. I didn't really change any attachments on the secondary because I wasn't that fussed on using them at all. This is just the standard pre-built 1911 that they gave us in the alpha. Okay, with all that out the way, let's jump on and have a look at the gunsmith for the XM4. So as we can see, it's kind of switched up from the way the gunsmith was in Modern Warfare 2019. It's got more of a vertical feel to it. The attachments are down the left hand side instead of all around the gun, which I did quite like in Modern Warfare. But there we are, this is how they're choosing to do it this year. So starting off with the optic, we've gone for the mill-stop reflex sight. We did have access to a fair amount of optic sights in the alpha, but this is basically the normal red dot sight. And there were some other interesting sights. The Cobra red dot is actually a red dot with a magnification of 1.5 times. And then we've got the usual holographic sight. We've got a Royal and Cross, which is basically a VLK sight. All of the things that we're used to are pretty much there. So moving on to the muzzle, like I mentioned earlier, I like to have all of my guns suppressed. Warzone, multiplayer, it doesn't matter to me. I do not want to be seen at all. That is just my play style. So I went for the suppressor. Obviously there were a few that weren't unlockable, but this one seemed to be the best of a bad bunch. As you can see on the pros, it is going to give us no minimap signature when we're firing, but it is going to take away 15% muzzle velocity and 15% effective damage range. But with the maps that were available to us in the multiplayer, but the damage range and the muzzle velocity weren't exactly the most important things out there. So looking at the agency suppressor, this was just a suppressor on steroids. It gave you 5% vertical recoil, but it did take away 5% of horizontal recoil control. The recoil in the alpha was very minimal anyway, so this didn't make that much of a difference. Okay, moving on to the next slot, we have the underbarrel, and I went for the Marshall foregrip. Plus 4% of the following statistics: sprinting move speed, base move speed, shooting move speed, and aiming move speed, with minus 7% hip fire accuracy. The foregrip was just straight up boring, with a plus 10% of horizontal recoil control, and like I just mentioned, the recoil in the alpha wasn't really there. You could control the recoil on these guns extremely easily. It was nowhere near as difficult as Modern Warfare 2019, so anything that kind of gave a recoil control bonus, I wasn't really looking for. Moving on to the fourth slot, we have the stock, and there was only two to choose from, the tactical stock or the sprint pad. I went for the sprint pad just because it gave a massive plus 17% sprint out speed. And then quickly moving on to the final slot, we went for the magazine, and we chose the 40 round mags. Plus 33% on the following statistics: aiming capacity, starting ammo, and magazine size. Pretty straightforward, exactly what you would expect from a larger magazine. And I opted for that just because I found myself getting into quite a lot of 2v1 situations where you might need those extra 10 bullets. The fast mag is straightforward. It's the same size magazine as the base, but you reload 25% faster, which is actually quite a lot. And the 40 round speed mag is basically the two put together. You get all of the bonuses of the top two, but you do get minus 10% recoil control. In hindsight, that probably would have been the best option here because, like I said, the recoil just wasn't up to scratch in the alpha. I tried to build this class like we normally would in Modern Warfare 2019, mainly because there is going to be quite a large crossover between the two in Warzone. And the optic muzzle, underbarrel, stock, magazine, these are all things that we try and use in Warzone. And guys, that was the very first class setup for Black Ops Cold War on the channel. I will be smashing out these videos once the beta and the full game releases, and hopefully we can get our hands on some of the Warzone information and try and build up some classes that we can start off using when Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War crosses over with Call of Duty Warzone. So if you are interested in the class setups for the game, and if you found the video helpful, or you do find the video helpful when you jump onto the beta or the full game, if you enjoyed the gameplay, let me know by dropping a like on it down below. Let me know in the comments what you think of the XM4 and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War in general. And as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, how-tos, class setups, and much more.